right now, who do you think is the MVP?
So to me, it all depends on the criteria we're using. And in terms of the MVP, right, we always look at, okay, who's most valuable to their team? And we say, if we take this guy away, where would the team be, right? And it's never been who's the best player award. It's always been who's the most valuable to their team. And to me right now, there's only two guys that you can really say is the most valuable to their team this year and in terms of where they are now. And that's Wemby and Jaylen Brown. To me, it's a two-man race. And I know SGA has done this thing and they winning and everything, but shit, they loaded. I mean, they loaded. They loaded for this year, next year, and the year after. But when Tatum went down, we thought for sure like the Celtics would be in the lottery. And then Jaylen Brown averaging 30. And if you take Wemby away from San Antonio, I mean, how good are they, right? They're good, but they're not championship caliber good the way we're talking about them right now. So it's to me it's a two-man race. That's not to talk about anything else. Talk about degrading anyone else's year. But I think in terms of MVP, who's been the most valuable to their team? To me, that's Jaylen Brown and Wemby.
And that's what we're talking about, Champ. What the criteria is. There's so many different guys. What actually is of value at this point in this conversation? That's what the conversation we were having.
100%. And I see one of those guys that obviously are in the top five is Luka, and he's been on an absolute heater right now. And the Lakers, I think, have exceeded everyone's expectations. And I don't know where the Lakers would be without Luka, obviously, this year too. But
I don't hide from it. I've been real poor before, so people have seen me at my worst. And as I continue to work through this, it's getting better. So I want to thank all y'all for just praying for me.
All great.
Absolutely.
All great thoughts,
Absolutely.
Isiah. All great thoughts.
Zeke, I want to ask you about the point guard game as it stands. Recently, Chris Paul retired. SGA went out and got Wilt's scoring record with the consistency with the 20-point plus games or whatever. I want to ask you personally, what is your criteria for ranking point guards in that discussion? Like who's in your top five and what sets guys apart for you?
To me, winning sets you apart. Like, do you win a championship playing the way you play? Now, and if you're winning playing the way you playing, then you're at the top of the heap, right? So we don't call SGA a point guard, but he got the ball all the time. He's bringing it up, and right now he number uno, right? Because Lou, if we was matching up with him, we would have to guard him, right? At the point guard position. So he's number one. Now, I guess the evolution of the point guard position is you got to be a dynamic scorer from that position now. And if you're not scoring the ball from that position, then, the offense ain't for you. It used to be the offense was for the center position. But now the offense runs through the point guard position. So you got to be a dynamic scorer. And number one right now is SGA at the point guard position.
Yeah.
All right.
Speaking of dynamic scorers, Isiah, this Bleacher Report article came out, and it's the top 15 purest scorers in NBA history. I don't know if you saw it or not, but they had Steph Curry 1, Kevin Durant 2, and MJ 3. You're shaking your head. I think I'm with you here.
I'm looking at
Where
this
did they
list.
go wrong
If
here?
there's no Allen Iverson on this list for pure scores, I don't respect it. But I listen.
And then 4 to 15, honestly, gets a little even stranger. But what's your take on this list, Isiah?
Well, it's so biased and disrespectful to big men who have sacrificed their whole life, their careers, and everything else for this generation just to take Wilt Chamberlain, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and just say, y'all careers don't matter. We're not going to even count you in all of this. Because if you put them in the category, you cannot possibly say that somebody's a better scorer than Wilt Chamberlain and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Now you can have preference, in terms of where you want the ball scored from. So if you like it being scored from the mid-range, or if you like it being scored from the three-point line, that is a preference. But for us who play the game, if you throwing that ball to Wilt and you throwing it to Kareem, and you look at their numbers and you compare them to all the other guys' numbers, you know, if you're talking about the best scorers, well, they scoring counts too. But right now, the way y'all generation letting people slide with this BS, y'all need to hold them accountable. So this is what I'm gonna say to the players, right? There is knowing and there's believing. Right now, y'all are being led by the believers. The players who are sitting on this panel right now with you, Beetle, they know who the guys are. And then the journalists who are writing about it, they believe who the guys are. But if y'all look at Wilt Chamberlain numbers and Kareem's and put them in the category, because they did play professional basketball, right? Don't just put them and throw them aside. Like, oh, you're not 6'6" or you're not 6'5", so you don't count. That's some BS.
Zeke, let me ask you this: How do we bridge the gap between
good question,
for lack of a better term, the OGs, the guys that a lot of us didn't see play but had major impacts on the game? You know, the Wilts, the Bills, and all of those guys. And now that we have a new crop of guys making history in their own right, but it's like we have these conversations and it feels like a them versus us kind of conversation. How do we bridge the gap in educating everybody and being able to celebrate the guys that were the pillars of the game to the new school? How do we bridge that gap?
It's the them versus us. The thems have won so far. And you're asking a great question. How do we bridge that gap? You know, in education, they say true knowledge is when you have total immersion into the field that you're studying. So there's participation and there's observation. The three of you sitting on that panel right now with Beetle, y'all up there because y'all participated in the sport and she observed the sport, right? On the men's side. And what you guys are bringing is true knowledge. So when you talk, your knowledge carries weight because you bring experience, what they call participation, and observation. That is what they call true knowledge. The observers, and it's always more of the observers, and they have what we call groupthink and consensus think. So they don't have the experience of really understanding participation. You guys are so important, and that's why you are there to beat back the BS. The BS that comes from the observers and the consensus. And the groupthink is always more powerful, and their voices are louder because they have consensus. And that's what you're dealing with right now with the MVP vote. Now I'm going to ask all of you, the three former players on the panel. Real talk. If you had to win, or if you had to compete in a game to win a championship today, do you want to compete against SGA to try to win it? Do you want to compete against Wemby to try to win it? Who do you want to compete against to try to win your championship?
Look at Boogie.
And they're both on their current teams?
I'm thinking of cooking today. I get your point. I get your point.
The one guy that's saying you want a game
Who are you scared of?
To win the game, it's a game 7, right? And this guy, Wemby or SGA showing up, who do you want to compete against that night to win your championship?
All right, before I answer this question, what era of basketball are we?
Don't start that. Just answer the question. Don't start that. Just answer the question.
We're talking today. We're talking right now.
Yeah, I understand the point.
Come on, guys. You know what it is.
I mean, me as a big, I'd rather face SGA. I feel like I can dominate SGA.
Okay, so that's one vote. Now the next two.
I've seen SGA do it. He's won a championship. He's an unbelievable scorer, but I've never seen anybody like Wemby defensively, offensively, what he does. So I would rather not face Wemby just because I think he's more versatile on both sides of the ball.
Okay, that's 2-2. Where you at, Lou?
This is a
Look,
test.
Zeke, you know how it go when you ride with your guys. But I
Answer
understand
the question, Lou.
Answer it, Lou.
Answer it, Lou.
No, I understand the point. I would much rather play SGA because of what Wemby brings on both sides of the ball. I understand.
Well, and this is what I'm saying, and what you three have just done in a classroom setting, right? You have identified the difference between knowing and believing.
Huh.
And that's where
cooking this morning.
That's where we come in, you know, when we talk about real knowledge. The observer it's impossible for him to have or her to have real knowledge. And you three are on FanDuel because you bring real knowledge. You bring participation from the sport with observation. And that's what they call total immersion. And that's how you get real knowledge. And you guys bring real knowledge.
Isiah, that was a great question, by the way.
Yeah, that was awesome.
For Lou to answer it also was a pretty big deal the way he did.